These aren't your typical drummers. They're the unsung legends. From dance rock to thunderous arena beats, these Styxmen defined eras but never got their full due. You know, when you hear an INXS song, there's this undeniable groove that just pulls you in, and that's Jon Farriss at work. From the first beat of Need You Tonight, you can feel it. That tight hi-hat, those slick syncopated rhythms, it's funky, it's cool, it's got swagger. Jon wasn't just keeping time, he was setting the mood. He had this magical way of blending live drums with drum machines, like on What You Need or Original Sin. His use of electronic pads and Lindrum gave INXS that polished, danceable edge that stood out in the 80s, but it still rocked. He didn't play for ego, he played for feel, and man, that feel, it still gets your foot tapping decades later. Pure, stylish rhythm. Now let's slow it down a bit. Feel that bluesy heartbeat? That's Simon Kirke. Whether it was Free or Bad Company, Simon was the rock-solid engine behind some of the most soulful tracks of the 70s. Think about All Right Now. That opening drum fill? Simple, but iconic. And then there's Can't Get Enough, where his tasteful groove lets the guitars breathe while still driving the song forward. Kirke never felt the need to show off. His strength was in knowing exactly what not to play. That takes maturity. His snare had a warm, woody crack to it, and his kick drum always felt like it was planted deep in the earth. He played with feel, space, and confidence. Classic rock wouldn't sound the same without him. Alright, now let's bring in some precision. Mark Brzezinski from Big Country was a drummer who made you listen closely. From the first beats of In a Big Country, you realize this isn't your average rock drumming. Mark brought a sort of military crispness, tight snare rolls, sharp cymbal work, and this syncopated flair that gave every song a heartbeat. He had a background in jazz and prog, and you could hear it in the way he layered rhythms. His use of ghost notes and dynamic snare work, especially on tracks like Chance, Fields of Fire, created tension and movement beneath those soaring Scottish guitar tones. Brzezinski didn't just play drums, he orchestrated them. It was complex, tasteful, and absolutely essential to Big Country's massive cinematic sound. Picture this. You're at a sweaty club in 1980, and the Romantics hit the stage. The drummer, he's not just back there pounding away, he's front and center, belting out What I Like About You with a grin that could light up the whole joint. That's Jimmy Marinos. Now, drumming and singing lead, that's no easy trick, but Jimmy made it look effortless. His playing had this bouncy, infectious pocket. Listen to Tell It to Carrie and you'll hear it. His snare pops like a firecracker, and his kick drum drives the whole thing forward without ever feeling heavy-handed. Marinos wasn't flashy. He was fun. He gave the Romantics their heartbeat and their attitude. In an era full of serious rock faces, Jimmy made rock and roll feel joyful again. Next up is Stephen Morris, the quiet powerhouse behind Joy Division and New Order. His drumming on She's Lost Control was like a heartbeat turning robotic. Tight, minimalist, and eerily hypnotic. Morris had a knack for making the drums sound almost electronic even before drum machines took over. When he moved into New Order, tracks like Blue Monday blurred the lines completely between human and machine.
How does it feel when you treat me?
His kick snare patterns were cold and calculated, yet somehow full of tension. He didn't just keep time, he created mood. Stevens' work paved the way for post-punk, synth-pop, and even modern electronic music. By 1980, Kiss needed more than just new songs. They needed new energy. That's when Eric Carr stepped in, and everything changed behind the kit. His drumming brought a heavier, more aggressive sound, first heard on tracks like Creatures of the Night and War Machine. Carr introduced double bass drumming to the band's style, adding depth and power without losing the groove. His playing on I Love It Loud is a perfect example. Big, spacious, and commanding. Eric didn't try to outshine the band. He lifted it up. His style gave Kiss a second wind, exactly when they needed it most. And here we have Andy Parker from UFO, one of hard rock's most reliable backbones. Parker wasn't flashy, but he had a way of making every groove feel heavy and alive. Just listen to Rock Bottom from the classic Strangers in the Night Live album. His steady build and powerful fills drive the song's epic jam. He combined a bluesy, swinging feel with hard rock force, giving UFO their gritty edge without ever stepping over the guitars. Tracks like Lights Out show his tight, no-nonsense approach. Parker's drumming was about feel and pocket, making UFO's complex songs sound effortless and grounded. Take a walk. Pat Torpe from Mr. Big had a gift that's harder to find than pure speed. He had control. On tracks like Alive and Kicking and Green Tinted 60s Mind, Torpe's drumming is tight, dynamic, and perfectly balanced. He could switch from light, almost jazzy touches to full-on rock thunder without losing the groove. His live solo spots, especially during Daddy Brother Lover Little Boy, showed his precise timing and power. Your daddy, your brother, your lover, and your little boy. Torpe understood how to let the song breathe, knowing when to push and when to hold back. His playing was polished but never sterile. Always human, always moving the song forward with style and heart. You know, Bobby Chouinard wasn't a household name, but his drumming left a serious mark on rock radio in the early 80s. With Billy Squier, he laid down massive grooves on tracks like Everybody Wants You and Lonely as the Night. His style was heavy, deliberate, and locked in. Every snare hit sounded like it could crack concrete. Live, he had a raw energy that you can hear in performances like Alice Cooper's Clones. We're all Chouinard had a powerful, no-frills approach that made the songs feel even bigger. He wasn't about flashy solos, he was about feel, drive, and making every beat count. Last but definitely not least is Bun E. Carlos from Cheap Trick, the master of making simple sound unforgettable. His drumming on tracks like Surrender and I Want You to Want Me was all about feel. Tight snare pops, swinging hi-hats, and a laid-back groove that made every song bounce without losing its rock edge. Bun E wasn't flashy, but he had impeccable timing and a signature looseness that gave Cheap Trick their charm. Listen to his fills during Ain't That a Shame live. They're perfectly rough around the edges. He made it sound easy, but it's pure craftsmanship. A true drummer's drummer. These drummers gave every song its pulse and power. Their names aren't always in lights, but their beats live on, timeless and unforgettable.